Hello, assalamu alaikum everyone. We are going to start doing the past paper, uh, paper 1 of May June 2023. So the first question is write down two of the following six numbers that can be irrational numbers. Oh, one more thing. So before you guys start the paper, please start from the first question. Now the reason why I'm telling you is that self-esteem is very important in that paper. You gotta keep telling yourself. I usually keep telling myself, oh Jar, if I got this, Jar, if I got this, Jar, if I got this, Jar, if you got this. So technically it's just that self-esteem. So the paper 1 I did start from the back, but for paper 2 I start from the beginning. So that's pretty much what I had done. But if you guys are trying to do it, test yourself out, see how you're performing better. Try to do papers where you're starting from the back, try to do the papers where you're starting from the front, and that way you're able to see how you're performing for both the scenarios. So choose whatever is good for you. Me personally, I would say do with option 1, starting from the first, because it helps you get in the flow of the exam. But again, completely on y'all. Two of the following six numbers that are irrational numbers. Okay, now we know for irrational numbers that they cannot be written as a simple fraction. So automatically I can cross this out, be like, oh, okay, this is irrational number, and then I can simplify this down to normal numbers, like normal squares, and then this can be written as a fraction. This 36 can be written as a fraction, 0.2 can be written as a fraction, 3 can be written as a fraction, negative 1 can be written as a fraction, but negative 18 cannot be written as a fraction. So how does that work? Not negative 18, square root 18. Square root 18 cannot be written, so square root 18, that becomes 9 times 2, and I get 2 3. So this cannot be written as a fraction, so hence we know that these are the two numbers that cannot be written as rational numbers. These are irrational numbers. Okay, so you got to write the num 3 pi upon 2 and square root 18. Okay, the nth term of a sequence is given by 12 minus 5n, the sum of the second number and the sixth number of the sequence. All right, pretty simple. The nth number they have told us is, okay, so they're asking us to find the second term, nothing very difficult. So they're telling us the nth term is what? 12 minus 5n, and then they're asking us to find the second term. So when they ask us to find the second term, what happens is that n is equal to 2. So what will this be? This is 12 minus 5, 2, and then 12 minus 10 is equal to 2. And then they asked us to find the sixth term as well. So sixth term, so when that happens, n is equal to 6. 12 minus 5 times 6 is equal to 12 minus 30 is equal to negative 18. And then find the sum. So we need to sum. So 2 minus plus negative 18, that would give me negative 16. My answer is negative 16. All right, pretty simple. Find the value of k squared minus k when, okay, again it's very easy, nothing very crazy tough. That's gonna be negative 4 squared. Okay, so I like to put everything in brackets so it's easier for me. 5 into negative 4, and then I just do negative 4 is 16 plus 20 is equal to 36. Normally it's a good practice to write your answers down in the given space. Doesn't really matter if you don't write, they don't deduct marks. They can't deduct marks for if you don't write it in the given space, but then it's just a good habit, because when you guys are looking back, it will help you guys recall things. Using a ruler or a compass, show all your construction line constructing a perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay, so I don't have protractor or anything, but I will tell you guys how to do a perpendicular bisector. So technically you will be having, let's say this is my makeshift compass, and then this is where my pencil is, and this is where my needle is. Okay, तो मैं क्या करूँगा, I take this compass of mine. Oh my god. Okay, I take this compass of mine. I put one of the corner, like the pointy part over here, and I'm gonna extend my pencil until like the half of it at least. So like at least the half of it, the pencil part at least until the half of it, and then I go up, and then I do a bisector over here like this, and then I'll get a bisector over here like this. And then what I do is again the same thing. Can I flip this? I don't think so, but I go over here and I put the pointy part, and then what do I do is I take my pencil and then I extend it. किधर गया? Why can't I copy this? Okay, I take this and then I take it until the half, more than half. Normally it's a good practice to take more than half. You take more than half and then you get a bisector over here, you bisector over here, and then you'll see that both of your bisectors are gonna form like a X like this manner, which will make a straight line, which will be your perpendicular bisector. Alright, although I'm not having the functions, or at least I'm not aware how to use the functions of compass on my iPad, but that's pretty much how you would do the construction of the what do you say, bisector, perpendicular bisector. Look, the maths paper is very easy. All right, like if you just look how we scored 2, 4, 6, 8 marks for free, so that's 8% of your paper. So definitely maths paper is very easy. It just needs you just need to be well prepared and just not give up. Try attending whatever you can, and inshallah I'm very positive that all of you all, because since you guys are watching this video, I'm very sure you guys are working very hard, so I'm very positive that you should be able to get good grade. All right, and trust me, getting a good grade doesn't define you. All right, getting a good grade, yes, it helps you move forward in life, makes it easier for you to move forward in life, but not being able to achieve what you really want to achieve is, it pushes you back definitely. But at the same time, I don't want you guys to think that just because your maths paper went bad or you weren't able to perform well in your maths paper does not mean that you're not good at maths. Being able to perform in maths paper and being good in maths are two different things. I have friends who are like so good in maths, but then them not being able to perform in the maths paper results in them not being able to get that score that they always desire. So it's absolutely okay. But what I really want you guys to think about is that you went for the exam, you did your best, and baki whatever happens, it's on Allah's hand. All right, the Almighty's hand. Okay, so the diagram shows a triangle ABC. The D is a point on line AC, E is a point on line BC, ABA is parallel to ED, BA is parallel to ED. All right, BC is equal to itna, EC is itna, DE is okay. So let's mark those things. B to C is 10.8, E to C is kitna? Oh wait, this looks not straight. Okay, this still isn't straight. Do I have OCD? I don't think so I have OCD, but if it was straight it would be satisfying. 8.1. DE is 36. Yeah, I was able to, oh, maybe the thing is wrong. Okay, so I could be right. Anyways, 36. All right. Work out the length in 1 centimeter, blah blah blah. Okay, understood. So in triangle ABC, we know that BA is parallel to ED. So since BA is parallel to BE, all right, we can say it is similar to triangle ABC. It is similar to triangle ABC and triangle EDC. All right, that should be fine. Now we find the scale factor. Okay, now scale factor is very important. We need to find the linear scale factor, not the reason why we say linear, it's a very key term. In further questions we might be able to, I'll be able to explain you all why we call it linear scale factor. But then always remember, when we are using the scale factor, it must always be in a linear format to move on to the other parts. All right, scale factor. So my scale factor in this case is BC upon EC. So when we take the scale factor, we take something that we have already the details for. We have the BC, we have the EC, so we are taking the details for those. Okay, it wouldn't make sense if I take AD and BA and ED. It wouldn't make sense because I don't have those information. You get what I mean? And then we always take the bigger one at the top, the smaller one at the bottom, and I should be getting something that looks like 10.8 upon 8.1, and that should be 10.8 divided by 8.1, that is 4 upon 3, 4 upon 3, and that's my scale factor. So for me to find let's say BA, so BA okay, I can just simply do it over here. DE is E multiply with the scale factor, which is 4 upon 3, and I know my DE is how much? DE is 3.6, and I can find 4.8. But here's the thing, like I want you guys to ask me, okay, how do you know like what to multiply with and blah blah blah. So few ways we can identify is, first we know that BA is bigger than DE, so definitely it will be times that. Okay, and now let's say you had AB, and then you wanted to find the length ED, so obviously you know that it's going to be divided because it's smaller than that. Okay, um, that's one thing. But again, another simple way to find out is over here. Now see how we have written the scale factor. Oh my god, no. Okay, see how we have the scale factor. Let me tell you, BC, you have BC, all right, upon EC, all right, equal to we have BA upon DE. All right, now I know these values, I'm just going to fill those in, and I should be getting the scale factor times the length of BA. Let's say I want to find the length of BA. I'm just trying to show you guys. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just trying to show you guys what are the different ways you guys can figure things out, because I know in exam hall in the stress you guys are not able to think that, oh, what will be times with what. So one way is that to think that BA is times DE because BA is bigger. That's one way to think. But if you don't want to go that way and you're like, just let's try to keep things theoretical, then what you can do is you can just write B like how in the ratio format. If you're comfortable with the ratio format, we are writing it in a ratio format. So this is 4 upon 3, because we know BC and EC is 4 upon 3, is equal to BA we don't know, but we do know DE is 3.6. So to find BA, we just simply need to move DE that side. So that's 4 upon 3 times 3.6 is equal to BA. So that is one of the ways that you guys can go ahead and solve. Okay, I'm just showing you guys the working so you guys can understand. I will remove the working because it will make the paper look messy, but that is one of the ways that you guys can definitely think about when you guys are doing the paper. Solving the inequality, again very simple. Let's try that. 4x minus 3, say 36x plus 5. These are the kind of topics that you don't lose marks, because these are simple algebra, so don't lose marks for these kind of topic. Okay, so 4x 6x plus 5 minus 3, 4x 6x, and this will become what? Plus, no, this will be plus 8. Okay, that was an error. And then we can move the 6 to the other side, and then I will be getting 6x 4x minus 6x plus 8. All right, what do I get? I get negative 2x. This specific working, you guys can have it differently in your case scenario. It's not necessary that just how I'm getting, you guys should get the same way. But just remember that whenever you're moving a negative negative coefficient, um, the sign reverses. All right, so whenever it's like a multiplication or division of a negative, the sign changes. So we have x sign change 8 upon negative 2. Okay, and then I get x greater than negative 4. That is my answer. All right, so I hope you guys were able to understand the part of the change. This was 4.8. I forgot to write down the answers over there, and this is x negative 4. Okay, the price of a coffee is decreased by 8%. The price of a cup of coffee after the price decrease is itna. Okay, fairly simple. All right, now what I want you guys to think, now the price has been decreased by 8%. A price decreased by 8% is 2.53. all right, so we need to find the original price. Now let's say we let the original price be, let the original price be kitna, let's say p, okay, and the decrease means we have a 8% decrease, so that means 92% is the original remaining value. All right, so reduced by 8%, so 92% is remaining, is left. Okay, is left. So we let the original price be p, and we reduced, so it's reduced by 8%, so 92%. So what we can do is, we know that the 100% of the price is p. All right, we know, okay, so we know 100% of the price is p. Percentage should be written as this thing 0.1, because 100%, to write the percentage in decimal is 100 divided by 100, so that's 1. And then for 92, that's going to be 92 divided by 100, that's 0.92. okay, and then we know that 0.92% is the remaining price. Okay, the remaining original value, and then I know that that's going to be 2.53. That is not going to be, that is 2.53. so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cross multiply, and I get 0.92p is equal to 1 multiplied by 2.53, and I get p is equal to 2.53 divided by 0.92, and I get my answer is 2.75, and that should be your value of the coffee. Okay, 2.75. all right, let's move on to the next part. The diagram shows inequality. The diagram shows the shaded finite region R, which has 3 straight boundary lines. Write down the 3 inequalities that define the shaded region. Okay, pretty simple. I just want you guys to look over here. Now whenever you guys get these kind of question, it is very important that you guys are familiarized with the concept of y is equal to mx plus c, because me personally, I like converting it to y is equal to mx plus c format, which is the straight line format, slope format. The reason why is because it's easier to comprehend in that manner. Let me explain you all. Okay, to shade, first I'm going to shade all of this region. I'm going to consider all of this region. So for me to consider all of that region, I know that is x lesser than 0. all right, because that is the lesser value. Now let me go ahead and do this. So this is what I know as y y lesser than 0. all right, and as you can see, these are straight lines, so straight lines represent greater than or lesser than. So whenever we have dotted line that is greater than, whenever we have a straight line that is greater than or equal to, lesser than or equal to, lesser than or equal to, greater than or equal to. ठीक है, ये हो गया. अब लास्ट का ये जो चीज़ है, the last equation that we have, now this equation we want it to be shading this particular region, correct? But it is hard for me to comprehend ki which direction y is going, correct? So me personally, what I would advise y'all, okay, what I would advise y'all is taking that equation which is 3x plus 2y is equal to minus 2. ठीक है, इस इक्वेशन को लो, इस इक्वेशन को हम क्या करेंगे, हम इसको y की सब्जेक्ट में कन्वर्ट कर देंगे. we'll convert it to with respect of y. So what's that's gonna be, 2y is equal to minus 2 plus 3x. alright, y is equal to negative 2 plus 3x upon 2. ठीक है, नाउ इधर क्या हो गया, इधर ये हो गया कि अब मैं y को, नाउ आई एम हैविंग y इंडिविजुअली, अब मेरे पास y इंडिविजुअली आ गया है. तो अब मैं डिसाइड कर सकता हूँ कि मेरा y का वैल्यू बढ़ रहा है या कम हो रहा है. बिकॉज इफ़ आई एम शेडिंग this side, if I'm shading this side of the line, then my y values, if you notice, it is decreasing, it's going down. But then if I'm shading the upper side, so my y value are increasing. So what can I say? I can say that y is greater than or equal to negative 2 plus 3x upon 2. okay, now I can say that my y value increasing is itna. Now simply I just write my answers: x greater than equal to 0, y greater than equal to 0, y is lesser than, and this is greater than equal to negative 2 plus 3x upon 2. all right, now that is how you, that it is very simple. okay, it's just how you perceive it. Me personally, I like to convert it to y, so I know where the values are going for the y. I would highly recommend you all to do that as well. ठीक है, because these are, that's the thing about ये छोटे छोटे marks अगर तुम लोग सही करते हो at a big at a bigger scale, it's a lot of marks. okay, so don't lose marks for all these kind of things. The next question is, given that for all the values of x, find the value of a and find the value of b. Now you see how this is given in this format and they're telling you this. So always remember that whenever they are asking you for this kind of format, this is completing the square format, x minus a the whole square plus b. This is what we call the completing the square format. So all we got to do is we got to do completing the square for this, and we should be getting our a b value. okay, so simply take the values x square minus 6x plus 5. okay, now in this case there are a few things we need to check. First thing I need to check, do I have any coefficient in my x? Do I have? Yes, I do have 1, but it's not like anything greater than 1. Just keep that in mind. Anything greater than 1 or lesser than 1, it can be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, it can be 1 2 3 4 5 6. Just make sure that it's always 1 over here. okay, if you have negative 2 or 2 or 3 or 4, just take the common out, just make a big brackets and then take it out, and just take it out from all these values as well. If you can't, if it's not a common that you can take out, then just divide it by 2, it should be commoned out. all right, you take it out and then you continue with these steps that I'm going to show. You take the b value, okay, for completing the square. First you take the b value, take it to the side. okay, we write 6, okay, and then we divide that value by 2, and then we get negative 3. all right, very simple. First step, take the b value, take it to the side. okay, take it to the side and divide it by 2. all right, now what we got to do is we are going to try to rewrite this thing. all right, we are going to rewrite this thing but in a different format. So first I'm going to take x, I'm going to write down the x, I'm going to write down how it is. You see that square at the x, take that in your left hand, close it in a palm, put it in your pocket. all right, then we have minus 3, write down the minus 3 from here. all right, then brackets closed. Remember that 2, the square that we had in our pocket, take that out and write it outside, and everything else write it the same way. Now here is where many people do mistake. This minus, it's a mandatory minus, it is always there. all right, you put a minus and then you put a bracket. all right, you put a minus and you put a bracket. Now the next step is negative 3, the whole thing squared. all right, whatever the value that you get from here, you need to square it. okay, and then what we do is when we get the square value, which is 9 in this case, we plug that value 9 over here. okay, Now what do I get? I get x minus 3 squared plus 5 minus 9, again x minus 3 squared minus 4, and that is my final answer. My a value is 3, negative 3, and my b value is, what is my b value? B value is 4. Okay, in your marking scheme they show that a is equal to 3, and if you look closely they are giving you full marks for b1, which is another marks for a is equal to 3 on the answer line. If the answer is blank then contains, then there is no award, but then a is equal to 3 is also accepted. All right, a is equal to 3, b1 for, okay, so you will be getting both the marks. All right, if you get so you have this thing, so positive and negative you can do it. Okay, so you will be getting the full marks, negative 3 and negative 4. Correct? Did we do everything correctly? Perfect, we did everything correctly, no doubts. All right, okay, without using a calculator now. Okay, many people without using the calculator they के डर जाते हैं. Without using the calculator does not mean that you don't touch the calculator at all. Without using the calculator, what does that mean? That you need to show few extra steps, you cannot skip steps. All right, that's all that they mean. You can definitely use your calculator, show the multiplication, everything. All you gotta do is show them the working. You can use the calculator. They're not going to snatch your calculator if they see you using calculator for this question. Okay, without using calculator, show all your working, workout. Okay, first step is I cannot manipulate these without calculator if I don't convert them to improper fraction. So that's the first thing that you gotta show, is that you converted them to improper fraction. So I have 2, 3 and 5 plus 3, 5 and 7. So the way that we convert them to improper fraction is to multiply and then this plus. So that's 2 times 5 is 10, 10 plus 3 is 13, the 5 just stays there, and then again same thing, multiply and this goes plus. 3 sevens are 21, 21 plus 5, 3 sevens are 21 plus 5, 26, 26 upon 7. That's pretty much it. And then now we got to make the denominator same, so you got to show them the working, that 13 times 7, 5 times 7 plus 26, 26 times 5, 7 times 5, and then just show them the final answer, which is 91 upon 35 plus 130 upon 35, and you get 221 upon 35, and then you need to give the answer in mixed form. So what you gotta do is you gotta do the division. All right, so when you do the division, you should be getting you should show them the division over here like this. Okay, 35 to 21, and then when you do the long division, I don't want to do it because I don't have my calculator nearby, but you guys should do it. Show them the long division, and you should be getting 6 at the top. All right, and then there'll be some working, and then you'll get 11 as a remainder, and then you just need to finally write your answer as 611 upon 35. Okay, and that's your final answer. Okay, that's your full marks. And what else? Make x the subject. Very simple. Again, these are very simple questions. These are questions that can potentially be scored full marks. Till now I have not seen a question that would make you lose marks where it is a little bit tricky. These are all very simple questions that I have very high confidence that all of you all will be able to perform very well. Okay, so making x a subject, y is equal to 3x minus 5. The 4, I'm moving it to the other side, so that's 4y. 4y is equal to and then I expand the, should I expand? No need to expand. I can move the 3 to the other side, so that becomes 3, and I get x minus 5. So I get 4y upon 3 plus 5 is equal to x. Simple as that. Okay, nothing very crazy, very simple. All right, yeah, that is correct. Now calculate, give your answer in a standard form. Again, you guys can use calculator for these. You guys are not restricted to not use calculator. You can definitely use calculator. It's just that you guys need to show your working. All right, now what we are going to do is we are going to try to factor the denominator. So what I can do is I can take common out. So in this case it is going to be 5.5 multiplied by 10 to the power of 8 divided by 10 to the power of negative 182 brackets 2 into 10 to the power of negative कितना होगा negative, no, it won't be negative, it will be, yeah, it will be positive 2 plus 4. All right, now the reason is when I expand the brackets, I should be getting the same as I started, so that's positive 2. That's the reason why I did positive 2. If you guys still have doubts, just try to open the brackets up. You guys will be able to clear your doubts. All right, okay, that's what we did. The next step is we rewrite the expression. We can rewrite the expression, like you can multiply this and you should be getting something like this. Let me show you. So 2 equal to will not be a right choice. So 5.5 multiply by 10 to the power of 8 divided by 10 to the power of, let me write it down as 204 times 10 to the power of negative 182. That looks much more easy to work with. Then we divide the coefficients, which is these values. Okay, so we get, what do we get? So that's 225. Let me write it down. 255 divided by 204. I get, what do I get? I should be getting 0.125. all right, 0.125, and then we subtract the exponents, which is these parts again. So let me show that working as well. So I get 10 to the power 8 minus 182, because the 182 is moving to the top. So, it's not moving to the top, it's just when it's division, so it subtracts. So even if you want to do the ideology that it moves to the top, then it becomes positive. So when it becomes positive, it will be 8 plus this thing. Technically over here as well there is a 8 plus this thing. So I get my answer as 10 to the power of 190, and my final answer will be 0.125 times 10 to the power of 190. And then remember, the standard form must always be given with like one, what do you say, it should be having the first decimal place must be having some sort of value, like 1.25 in this case. It's going to be 1.25, and since I moved it one decimal inside, so that's going to be some negative this thing, so that's going to be 10 to the power of 189. all right, that's your answer. All right, let's move to the next question. Factorize fully 8ab plus 28b squared. Very simple. Again, we take the highest possible commons out. So in this case, I know that 28 and 8 comes in 4's table, so I can take those out. So that's going to be 4, and then the b is also common amongst them. So I get 2a plus 7b squared. So 7b, sorry. That's my final answer. 2 marks for that. I mean, what else can I say? And then over here also they are asking you to factorize. Again, very simple. What we do is we okay, first we need to find, for factorizing this kind of question, you need to take this value and this value, and you're gonna multiply it. That's 5 multiplied by negative 18, and you get what? 5 times negative 18 is 90. all right, 90. And then what you need to do is you need to find two factors that adds up to 9. So in this case, that's again very simple. We know that 15 multiplied by negative 6, 15 multiplied by negative 6 gives me negative 90, and when you 15 plus negative 6 gives me positive 9. So perfect. All right, so I rewrite this: y squared plus 15 y plus negative 6y minus 18, and again I take the commons out with the pairs. Okay, and then that's gonna be 5 y and y plus 3. all right, another way is that you just to know that if you're going on the right track is you double check inside values. Okay, so you multiply it and you check the inside values. So that's 5y multiplied by y gives me 5y square, 5y plus multiplied by 3 gives me 15y. So I'm going right. And then again over here I see that I can take 6 common. So 6 no, I can take 3 common, so that's negative 3. So that's 2y minus, no, yeah, I can take 6 common. So that's I can take 6 common. So y minus not minus, plus 3. 3 6 are 18, negative 3 into 8. Okay, no, so we are correct. Now all we do is we combine this and this together. We get 5y minus 6, and we take this and this and we combine it over here. I don't know how to show this. Okay, and then we get y plus 3 one time. So another rule of thumb is when you're doing the factorization method for a quadratic equation, if we have these two values the same, we know that we are going in the right direction. So we know that we are correct. So that's one of the key things that you notice. Pretty simple, and that's you're done with the full what do you say, excuse me, you're done with the full factorization. Now let's move on to the next question. Next question is saying that diagram shows trapezium ABCDE is a midpoint of AB and DEC is an equilateral triangle. Okay, we need to prove that their congruency. Okay, so the congruency rule is very simple. You just need to just think of all the mathematical uh, properties that we ever studied and combine them all together. Okay, we just need to prove that AED is congruent. Like it's like congruency matlab they're same. Like we need to prove that they are valid, they are like being related to each other. That's how I would put it in words. So I can say that AE is equal to EB because E is midpoint of AB. Okay, and then I can also say that ED is equal to EC because triangle DEC is equilateral. Alright, अब next क्या है? Next हम लोग बोल सकते हैं that angle AED is equal to angle BEC, and the reason is, let's say let angle DEC is equal to 60 degrees because equilateral triangle. ठीक है, and since AB is directly parallel to DC, ठीक है, because they are trapezium. ठीक है, मैं इधर लिख भी देता हूँ trapezium okay, sorry, trapezium, and the triangle is equilateral. ठीक है, the figure is a symmetric का स्पेलिंग गलत है, symmetric isosceles triangle. I'm not gonna write all that. Okay, so that's how we know that angle AED is equal to angle BEC. Although this much is not required, I'm giving you guys extra information. अगर तुम लोग यहाँ से 2 ही लिखते और लास्ट में मेंशन कर देते कौन सा टाइप का क्या बोलते हैं कॉन्ग्रुएंसी हो रहा है, यू शुड बी गेटिंग द फुल मार्क्स. ठीक है, आई हैव रिटन ऑल दिस. नाउ लास्ट में हम लोग को बताना है कि कौन सा टाइप का कॉन्ग्रुएंसी हो रहा है. वी हैव SSS, वी हैव SAS, we have AS, all those kind of stuff, angle, side, side. But in this case, which is the most popular one, and we say which is the most popular one, which is SAS. Okay, we say by the rule of SAS, triangle AED is congruent to triangle BEC. Alright, that's pretty much it. 3 marks वहाँ लॉक हो गया. ठीक है, विदाउट यूजिंग कैलकुलेटर. अगेन वापस से विदाउट यूजिंग कैलकुलेटर मतलब ये लोग बोल रहे हैं कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वर्किंग करके मुझे समझाओ. ठीक है, अब सिंपल सी चीज़ है, we'll try working this out. Now first I'll try to simplify this, and then I'll try to simplify this, and then I'll combine all of them together. Okay, that's the best way, so that I get 3 under root. I need to split 180 with something that is a prime, so I can keep splitting things out. ठीक है, मैं चीज़ों को बाहर लेकर जाऊँ, बाहर लेकर जाके मैं जो अंदर की चीज़ है वो उसको और भी सिंप्लीफाई कर देता हूँ. ठीक है, तो इससे क्या होगा, मैं 36 टाइम्स 5 अगर कर देता हूँ, ठीक है, तो फिर मेरा ये बन जाएगा 36 इंटू 36 में निकाल सकता हूँ, तो वो बन जाएगा 6. ठीक है, बिकॉज स्क्वायर रूट ऑफ 6 इज़ 36, सो व्हेन यू टेक इट आउट दैट्स व्हाट हैपेंस. तो मेरा इधर 5 बन गया, ये हो गया मेरा 18 5. ठीक है, 18 स्क्वायर रूट 5. फिर इसको करते हैं, सो 2 आई नो 245 को मैं वापस से 5 के साथ 5 कैन बी अ प्राइम इन दैट, सो वी कैन डू 49 टाइम्स 5. ठीक है, and then I will be getting 7 times 7, which is 5 in this case, so मुझे मिल गया 14 square root 5. अब एक और चीज़ मज़े की बात यह है कि ये जब आप लोग सर्च करते हो, सर्च का क्वेश्चन है, तो अगर तुम लोग सर्च करते हो ना, एक चीज़ अगर तुम लोग का ये जो स्क्वायर रूट है ना, स्क्वायर रूट अगर सेम होता है, यू कैन जस्ट कम्प्लीटली ट्रीट देम लाइक एक्स वैल्यूज़. तो इट्स वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग. तो फिर ये हो जाएगा हम लोग का 18 square root 5 minus 14 square root 5. ओके, एंड देन अगर मैं इसको सिंप्लीफाई कर देता हूँ, आई गेट 4 square root 5. ठीक है, एंड देन आई कैन पुश द 4 inside, so that will become in this case, because they have told you that they need enough from this. तो फिर अगर मैं 4 को पुश अंदर कर दूंगा, तो फिर ये बन जाएगा मेरा 16 टाइम्स 5. तो 16 टाइम्स 5 कितना होगा, 16 टाइम्स 5 80 हो जाता है. एंड दैट इज़ प्रीटी मच हाउ यू वर्क विथ. ओके, दिस इज़ वेरी वेरी, आई वुड से दिस वॉज अ लिटिल बिट ट्रिकी. ठीक है, थोड़ा दिमाग चाहिए होगा, बट इफ़ यू आर वेरी फेमिलियराइज्ड विद द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ सर्च, दिस शुड बी अ वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन. ओके, नाउ वेक्टर्स, वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. ठीक है, नाउ दे आर आस्किंग यू अबाउट positional vectors. Okay, the position of a vector A is 3:8. Okay, the point B is coordinate of itna itna, find the vector. Okay, now for you to find the positional vector, the position of a vector A is itna, the position the point B has a coordinate 2 comma -4. Again, very very simple question, but then they just made things complicated ताकि तुम लोग को करने में मुश्किल हो. ठीक है, again सोचो, ये लोग बोल रहे हैं कि एक वेक्टर ये रहा, ठीक है, जो कि -3,8 के पोजीशन में, और दूसरा पोजीशन ये रहा, और ये हो गया 2, -4 में. I'm not trying to make it graphically correct. I'm just trying to make a diagram that is easier for you guys to understand. ठीक है. अब देखो ये 2 पॉइंट है, तो फिर अगर ये लोग बोल रहे हैं कि ये मैग्नीट्यूड होता है, तो मैग्नीट्यूड निकालना मतलब ये दोनों के मैग्नीट्यूड का फॉर्मूला होता है. एक मैग्नीट्यूड निकालना मतलब कितना एनर्जी यूज़ हो रहा है दोनों में. यू डोंट नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट्स द डेफिनेशन ऑफ मैग्नीट्यूड. मैग्नीट्यूड मतलब एक टोटल वैल्यू निकालना एक चीज़ का. ठीक है, उस तरीके से समझ लो. एक मतलब ग्रेटर वैल्यू लाइक द सब टोटल वैल्यू निकालना, उसको हम मैग्नीट्यूड कहते हैं. ठीक है, तो इन दिस केस सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है. ठीक है, टू फाइंड अ पोजिशन, हम अगर मुझे चाहिए कि ये जो पोजिशन है, अगर मैं ये पोजीशन निकालना चाहता हूँ, मैं निकालूंगा कि तो ये लोग पहले मुझे दिए हुए हैं -3 विच इज़ ऑलरेडी इन अ वेक्टर. ठीक है, एंड देन माइनस विद द पॉइंट बी विच इज़ -4. इट डजेंट मैटर कि आप कौन सा सामने पीछे कर रहे हो, कोई भी को सामने पीछे आप लोग लिख सकते हो. यू कैन पुट एनी वन ऑफ देम फ्रंट और बैक, इट डजेंट मैटर. ठीक है, एंड देन आई विल बी गेटिंग माई फाइनल आंसर एज 5 -12. ठीक है, विच इज़ अ वेक्टर. ठीक है, ये बन गया मेरा वेक्टर. लेकिन अब मैग्नीट्यूड ख़त्म नहीं हुआ. मैग्नीट्यूड का आपका फॉर्मूला होता है. ठीक है, मैग्नीट्यूड का आप लोग को क्या करना होता है कि यू टेक, तो आप लोग को मैग्नीट्यूड निकालना होता है. सो व्हाट डू यू डू फॉर मैग्नीट्यूड? मैग्नीट्यूड इज x² प्लस y². ठीक है, सो इन दिस केस दिस इज गोना बी मेरा x है 5² प्लस -12² एंड आई विल बी गेटिंग √169. ठीक है, and that's pretty much it. And then if you simplify this more, you should be getting your answer as 13, and that is your answer. Okay, and since this is magnitude over here, we always eliminate the negative value and we get the positive value, which is 13 in this case. ठीक है, तो नेगेटिव रिजेक्ट हो जाते हैं एंड वी गेट आवर फाइनल आंसर. बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली व्हेन यू डू अ स्क्वायर रूट यू गेट अ पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव वैल्यू. आई रिमेंबर दैट. बट देन क्या होता है कि आप मैग्नीट्यूड यूज़ कर रहे हो, मॉड्यूलस यूज़ कर रहे हो. दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल मॉड एज वेल. So when that happens, you eliminate negative value, because whatever value comes out from this, like when whatever value comes out from this is always positive. मतलब ये जो दो दरमियान है, दो लाइन्स है, दो लाइन्स के बीच में से एक्सक्यूज मी जब वैल्यूज़ निकलते हैं इट इज़ ऑलवेज क्या बोलते हैं, पॉजिटिव. ठीक है, alright, so question number 17 is about histograms. Now the histogram questions, again, they are very very simple. They come for a hefty amount of marks, 3 marks. Again, 3 marks. Again, why I say it's hefty amount, because you don't see normally 3 marks questions. So please try to utilize the 3 marks that you're getting, because 3 marks is 3%, and that 3% could be the difference for you from getting an A star and A. Alright, calculations are very simple. Alright, they have given you the frequency density. Let me turn on this. Okay, they have given you the frequency density over here, and then they have given you the, in this case it is weight in grams. So we have majority of our information that we require. All right, so this is the formula that you guys must know is frequency density is equal to frequency upon class width. All right, so let's work with that. So I know I'm just trying to find this. So I'm going to name this as frequency density. Frequency density, and this is going to be my frequency is 15 upon class width is 10 is equal to 1.5, and then 25 upon how much, 5.0, and then let's try doing it this way. 15 divided by 10, 1.5 divided by 5, 5.0, and then we have 22 divided by 5, and that is 4.4. We have 20 divided by 5, 4.0. 18 divided by 20 is equal to 0.9. All right, so this is the frequency density that we have found. Now what we simply need to do is plot them. Okay, that's the simplest part. Now all we got to focus on is these things. All right, and these things. That's all that we got to focus on. Baki frequency we don't need. All right, so that is all we got to focus on. Now let's say 85 to 95, my frequency density is 1.5. Now another good habit would be that you analyze these data and you plot the frequency density side with that with something that is optimal. Okay, so let's try that. So I'm gonna do 1. I think 1 would be perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. and 5. So that's 0 0.1, 0 0.2, 0 0.3, 0 0.4, and so on. So that's easier because I have the space, I have the values and stuff, so that's pretty much my intention. So I have 1.5, so that's approximate over here. Okay, 1.5, and then my length is 85 to 95. So I'm not going to start from here, I'm going to start from 85. Okay, so from here, from 85 to 95, approximately over here. And then we make this thing connection. Okay, now what is the next thing? Next thing is 5.0 from 95 to 100. Okay, so 95 to 100, I know this is 5.0. So we make the line, we make this line as well. Okay, now next thing is 4.4, and then the range is 100 to 105. 4.4 in this case is over here, 100 to 105. Another thing that you guys will notice while doing histograms is that all the class widths are given in a connection, like they're connected to each other. So again, that's one of the things that I wanted to point out. Then 4.0 from the range 0.5 to 110. So 4.0 from 0.5 to 110. So that's over here, right there, and then 105 to 110. Okay, and lastly, it is 0.9 from the range 110 to 130. So 130, 110. Okay, it's 0.9. So 0.9 is somewhere over here, 130 is somewhere over here, and we completed this and we got the full marks. Very simple. That's pretty much it. They don't ask you to use the information table to draw the histogram grid flow. That's it. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 values. So we have 8 values. So 8 values, what we'll do is 8 divided by 2, and that is 4. So what we do is we come over here and we take 2 values from the middle. Okay, because we don't have a singular value. Okay, so we take 2 values from the middle. In this case it's 5, so we get 5. We write median, 5 plus x divided by 2, and that is my median. Now we try to find the mean. So in this case, the mean is going to be the sum of everything. So negative 20, negative 15, plus 3, plus 5, plus x, plus 77, plus 85, plus 90. And my sum is going to be negative, what is negative 20 plus negative plus 90? So that's going to be positive 225 plus x. There's 8 values, so divide by 8, and that's my mean. All right, we found the mean. What else? Now we set up the equation. They're telling us the mean of 8 number is 2 more than the median of the 8. So that's again very, very simple. So we know that they're telling us mean of the 8 is 2 more, like median plus 2. All right, that's what the question is technically saying. So we have an equation right now. Okay, so very simple. Now that we have an equation, now we can manipulate things around. Let me pull this a little bit on over here. Okay, let me start it so I know that this is my equation. So my mean is 225 plus x upon 8 is equal to my median is 5 plus x divided by 2 plus 2. Now I'm going to make the denominators equal on this side, and then I'm going to do I'm going to cross multiply and move things around. All right, so I'm going to get 225 plus, or what we can do, can we do anything else? Yeah, or we can do this. We can do x and then 8 times 5 plus x divided by 2 plus 2, and then I'm going to get 225 plus x is equal to 4, 5 plus x, because that gets cancelled out, and plus 2 8s are 16. So that's what I get. And then now I just try to expand and simplify. So I get 225 plus x is equal to 20 plus 4x plus 16, and I can move things around and combine this thing. So I should be getting, that's 36 on this side. I'm just going to quickly simplify. So that's going to be 189 is equal to 3x. All right, and then I get my x value is equal to 189 divided by 3, and that is 63. All right, my value is 63. I hope everyone understood and no one has any problem with this solving. It should be very, very simple. Just a little bit tricky, I would agree, but again, very, very simple if you understand what you're doing. Let's move on to the next question. So this question is about probability. Probability questions are where they see your critical thinking, and it is I personally feel very good about probability questions because this is where you can really change your marks because they come from hefty marks like 4 marks. Now that we are progressing the paper, now we are seeing they are giving you more hefty questions where they want you to think more. So definitely few of those. Calculate the probability. Okay, first let's read the bias dice has 6 face number. Okay, the table shows the information about the probability that when the dice is thrown. Okay, dice is thrown once. Okay, we know that the dice is thrown once. Okay, now calculate the probability that the dice lands on less than 7. Probability that the number the dice lands on is less than 7. Okay, very simple. So first what we got to do is first we got to solve for a. So how do we solve for a? Very simple concept. We know that all the time, like all the possible probability. So this is all the possible probability for getting 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. Like these are all the possible probabilities. So all the possible probabilities always add up to 1. So we have a very good hint in this case. So we have a plus 0.22 minus a plus 0.20 plus 1.5 a plus 0.03 plus 22a plus 0.01, and then we combine everything together and we should be getting something like this solve, and this will be equal to 1. All right, and then we get 4.5a is equal to 0.54, and then a is equal to 0.54 upon 4.5, and then I should be getting my answer as 0.12. Okay, that is my value for a. Now we need to find the probability. We need to find the probability that it lands on 7. So we need to do probability. So we need to do probability of 2, probability of 4, and probability of 6. We need to combine them together. So we would have a plus 0.22 minus a plus 0.20. We know our a values, which are going to get cancelled out in this case. So we have this and this cancelled out, and my final answer is 0.42. That is the probability. All right. In this case, we didn't have to find the value of a, but we still found. So I think we did an extra step for the part B in this part. So we can just move. We didn't need to do the solving for a over here. So a working goes over here. That was funny. Okay, so we overwrite for part A, but that's pretty much how it is. They'll ask you to find the value of A anyways. I'm guaranteeing you that. Calculate the expected number of times the dice will land on 12. So we need to find the amount of time it lands on 12. So for us to find the amount of time it lands on 12 is we need to know the value of A. So we found the value of A. All right. Now probability of 12. All right. Now what is the probability that it is on 12 is 2A plus 0.01. We know that value of A is 0.12. So 2 into 0.12 plus 0.01. And I get my final answer as 0.25. 0.25, correct? 0.25. Okay, now the dice is thrown 80 times. So what happens when you throw 80 times? We know that the probability of us landing 12 is 0.25. So what we do is 80, like whatever. Now this is the formula for expected value. Expected value, third value is number of event times number of probability. All right, so number of event is 80 times the probability 25, and I should get my answer as 20 is the time. Like I'm expected to get 12 20 times. So that's my answer. All right. Proportionality. Y is directly proportional to square root w. Given that y is equal to 10 and w is equal to 25, find the formula for y in terms of w. All right, y is equal to k square root w. Okay, this is what we do. Now this is directly proportional. So when we have directly proportional looks something like this, and then we have a constant value, which is the k in this case. They have given us that value of 10 and value of y and value of w. So we put that and we find the value of constant, which is 10 k square root 25, and I get 10 upon 5 is equal to k, and k is 2 in this case. Now find a formula for y in terms of w. Okay, wait. Find the formula for, no way, is that how simple it is? No, so that's in terms of, okay, so we found the value of k, so they are asking in terms of y and k. Damn, okay, well, okay, that was a little surprising. I didn't expect it to be that easy. That's pretty much it. That's your answer. Sorry, not 25, w. That's pretty much it. That's your answer. So you got 3 marks for that. I was a little surprised. I'm like, whoa, 3 marks for this. But yeah, here, O levels is not that difficult, so I'm pretty sure. Now k is inversely proportional. So again, when we speak about inversely proportional means 1 over t cube. So it becomes like 1 over that value. So in this case, write down expression in terms of x and t and c, where c is a constant. Whoa, bruh. So we have x is equal to c times 1 over t cube, and that will be x is equal to c upon t cube. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. That's your answer. Let me check your marking scheme if we did it correctly. This is question number, yeah, we are correct. That's pretty much your answer. 4 marks for free. This was like, I would consider this as free 4 marks. All right. Okay, question number 21. The curve C has an equation y is equal to idna, or y is equal to x square over, okay, where b is a constant value, c is a stationary point. C has a stationary point when x is equal to 1.5. Find the value of b. Okay, they have given us quite a lot of information. We are asked to find the value of b. So what we are going to do is we are going to find, because we cannot find the stationary point from this, so what we got to do is we're going to differentiate it so we can get a stationary equation. All right, so we have, this is a curve equation at the moment, so y is equal to x squared minus b, and then I'm going to move the x to the top, so that becomes negative 1 plus 5, and then I'm going to differentiate this, so I get dy by dx, and that's going to be 2 comes to the front, x, and 2 reduces by 1, and then negative b times negative 1, so that becomes positive b, x minus 1 gives me minus 2, and then 5 goes away, and now I get my equation 2x plus b upon x squared. All right, now they're telling me that what are they telling me? They have the C has a stationary point. So when we have a stationary point, what does the stationary point mean? Stationary point means that when it's going to be 0. So when x is equal to 1.5, I get my stationary point. Stationary point is when this whole equation will equate to 0. So this is what we call the stationary equation. So stationary equation becomes 0. Okay, different this thing, and then that's 2 into 1.5. So they're telling us when x is 1.5, everything becomes 0. So plus b, and then I get 1.5 squared, and now I just simply solve is equal to 0, and I just simply solve it, and after doing all the solving, I should be getting my answer as, what do I get my answer as? I will get my answer as b is equal to negative 6.75. Like after you guys do the working and stuff, like I'm assuming you guys know how to do the working, so b is equal to negative 6.5, and that should be your answer. All right, very simple. Again, 4 marks for that, bro. I don't even know what they're doing, because these are very simple. All right, okay, question number 22. Let's see. So question number 22 is saying a solid cylinder with a diameter x centimeter and height x centimeter is placed inside a hollow cube A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H of side x centimeter, given that AF is 27. Okay, so we know that AF is a diagonal line that is 27 centimeter. Okay, we know some information. Okay, so we are going to do the we are going to use the space diagonal formula, which is d is equal to x upon 3. In this case, the under root 3 is always there, and then this is the side of the length. This is, x is the length. All right, so we got that, and then we know that the diagonal length we already know, which is 27 x square root 3, and then we find the value of x, so that's going to be 27 upon square root 3 is equal to x. My x value is what, 9 upon 3. Okay, and we can approximate this and get a value, but you know what, we should we you know what, let's try to keep it as a whole. Let's not try to mess around. Okay, so now I know, now what does this information tell me? I know that this height that I got from, what do you say, of this is a cube, correct? They have told us that it is placed in a cube, so I know all of these sides whenever and by the way, this diagonal formula can only be used when you are using a cube, and hence we know that all the sides are 9 under root 3, 9 under root 3, 9 under root 3, and this equation, this question cannot be solved if you do not know the diagonal formula. So the diagonal formula is quite important. All right, so we got that. All right, we got that information, we got the diagonal, we got the length, side length. Now we find the volume of the cube. So how do we find the volume of the cube? Volume of the cube is side cubed, so in this case we have 9 upon 3 cubed, and I get 2187 cube, 217 square root 3, and that should approximately give me an answer. But we are not trying to find the volume of the space inside the cube that is not taken up. We are trying to find the space that is not taken up by the cylinder. So what we got to do is we find the volume of the cube, and then we find the volume of the cylinder, and we subtract, and we should get the empty space. And that's what the empty space, we need to write it in 3 significant figures. So what my advice, me personally, I like taking values as complete as it is, like exact value. So this, if I convert it to decimal, I might be at a risk of getting a decimal error. So I personally don't want to take that risk, and you as well. So when you guys are solving, do not take, like, let's say this one, it's going to be 15.588, and if I wanted to solve with decimal points, I would take 3 or 4 values of decimals. I wouldn't take 1 or 2, because when you do 1 or 2 values of decimal, like when you reduce it, so over here also you're reducing it, again you will, over here also you're reducing it, over here also you'll reduce it, and then what happens is that you get closer, you get at the risk of getting a decimal point error. All right, of cube, and now volume of cylinder. All right, so we find the volume of cylinder, and the volume of cylinder is again very simple, pi r square h, pi r square h. Now, do we know the length of pi? Yes, absolutely, because if you look carefully, this whole length, we know this whole length. How do we know that? Is because the sides and the sides are connecting, so we know that the sides are equal, so we know that the radius is going to be 9 upon 3 divided by 2, so that is going to be, so we find radius is 9 square root 3 upon 2 is my radius. Do I know the height? Absolutely, I know my height, which is 9 square root 3. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much it. We know all the information, so that is pi into square 9 square pi square root 3 upon 2, the whole thing squared, times the height, which is 9 square root 3, and then when we get simplified, we will get something like pi 2187 square root 3 upon 2, and now we can get a a definite answer. So what we do is, this is the volume of the cylinder, so what we do is volume of cube minus volume of cylinder. All right, so that's volume of cube is 2187 my square root of 3 minus pi 2187 square root 3 divided by 2 is equal to, now you will get something in your calculator as a decimal point, so it would be 8.12.9 ish something, and then you can round that off to 813, and that is your centimeter cube answer. All right, that is your final answer for that. Did we miss anything? No, we did not miss anything. Are we correct? Yes, we are correct. All right, now express okay, as a single fraction. Okay, so this is a heavy algebra question. Okay, so this will take a little bit of attention. This is where many students, they give you this kind of question, which is for 5 marks. Simple algebra solving. That is, it is not something very crazy algebra solving. It is a very simple algebra solving. That's the only thing, is that it is very lengthy. All right. So what we are going to do is 2y minus 3. So okay, that's 3y plus 4. All right, and then we try to make the denominator and everything same, and then divided by 6y plus 34, 6y squared minus 7y minus 20. All right, now what we got to do is we get 3y plus 4 minus 3y minus 3, and I get denominator as y minus 3, 3y plus 4. This is what I get, and then I get equal to 6y plus 8 minus 3y plus 9 divided by, should I expand the denominator? I don't think so, it's not required. They didn't ask me to expand it, they just asked me to write it in the simplest format. So if I'm writing it in the simple format, I don't think it'll be a good choice to expand the denominator. Just let's try to keep it how it is. 3y plus 4, I hope I'm doing it right, and then this will become 3y plus 17 upon y minus 3, 3y plus 4. Okay, so now we have simplified this. Now let's try to factorize the second one. We can definitely factorize the second one. So that's 6y plus 34 divided by, and then that's 6y squared minus 7y minus 20. That's 6 times 20, that gives me 120. I need to find two factors of 120. That gives me what? That gives me 7. So 8 times 15, so that's negative 20, so that's negative, so I get negative 8, and that should give me 15 plus 8 minus 8. All right, so we are getting it correct. So in this case, we need to get negative 7, so that's 15 is going to be negative, so I get 6y squared minus 7 minus 8, sorry, minus plus 8y minus 15y minus 20, and then all I got to do is 3y y plus, sorry, it's going to be 2y, so that's going to be 3y plus 4, and this is going to be 5, and then I get 3y plus 4, and then I get 2y minus 5, 3y plus 4. Okay, then I get 6y plus 34 divided by 2y minus 5, 3y plus 4. Okay, now what I got to do is now I can combine both of them and as per write them as a single fraction. So now what do I have? I'm going to copy paste it because I'm not going to write the whole thing. So this is duplicate. This is my first this thing, and this is my second one. Okay, and then since they have said divide, so I'm going to take a reciprocal. All right, so what would this become? This would become something like this. So when you take the reciprocal, the down goes up goes down. There, this becomes multiply. Okay, and now all we got to do is we cancel the common terms, which can we cancel anything? We can cancel this out. All right, we cancel the common out. Anything else that we can see to cancel out? I don't think so. And then we can try to simplify this, and we can try to take a cancel. I think we can. So because we get 34, no, we don't get 34 and 17. Can we? Oh, we can do this. We can take a 2 and then we get this. Okay, so 3y plus 17 upon y minus 3 times 2y minus 5 upon 2 common out. We get 3y plus 17, and then we can take the 17 out, this whole thing out, and I get we get 2y minus 5 divided by 2y minus 6, and that's my final answer. All right, either you guys can keep it as a whole as y minus 3, and that should still be correct. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's your correct answer. Okay, question number 24. As we can see, we have the trapezium ABCD. We know that question number 24. The diagram shows a vertical or horizontal garden ABCD in the shape of trapezium with AB parallel to DC. AB is equal to OK, DC, AB, AD is equal to BC. The point B is due east of point A. The area of the garden is itna. Calculate the bearing in degrees, the nearest degree of D from A. All right, sounds good. So we have few information. Now we are trying to find the bearing of D from A. Bearing of D from A. So we are trying to find. Okay, got you. We are trying to find that. Okay. So now we know a few things. Okay, we know that first we need to find the height. So we do not know the height. Okay, we do not know the height, so we will first try to find the height. That's what I feel is the first step. Okay, we'll try to find this height. Now the reason why the height came to my mind the first thing is because they have given us the area of the garden, and it is a trapezium, so I know that area of a trapezium is a plus b upon 2 times the height. So I know my area, which is 392.6 is equal to, and I know my a value is 9.8 9.8 plus 20.4 divided by 2 times the height, which we don't know, and we can do our working, and we can find the height, which is going to be height is equal to 26. So you guys can do the working, simplify this, and then you should be getting your answer as 26. Consider trying finding this length. How do we find this length? We do 20 minus 9.8. all right, because what we are trying to do is first we subtract this area, and then the length that will be left behind, we're going to subtract it by these two. Okay, so we get 20 minus 20.4 minus 9.8. okay, and 9.8 divided by 2. okay, now whatever we get, we would be getting 5.3, and that is my length, 5.3 over here. I know my height, which is 26 over here, and I can find this thing with the help of So, Ka, and Toa, which is and we are going to use Toa in this case, which is the tan equation. So that's going to be tan, we don't know the theta, is equal to it's going to be 5.3 upon 26. and I should be getting something like 11.5 degrees. Okay, 11.5 degrees. And since we know that it's 11.5 degrees and we were trying to find the bearing of D from A, so we already know this is 180 degrees because this is pointing towards the north. All right, so we have 180 degrees plus 11.5, and we should be getting our answer. 180 plus 11.5 is equal to 191.5 degrees, and that is our answer. And then they asked the answer in the nearest degree, so if they're asking in nearest degree, that's going to be 192 degrees. All right, now let's move on to the next question. All right, question number 25. Again, first simple 2 marks, simple, very simple 2 marks. So that's minus 3, 2 minus 1, 4, the whole thing subtracted by 1, 3, negative 2, negative 4. Be careful with the calculation, it's very easy to make mistakes, but at the same time it's very easy to gain marks. So I get negative 3, negative 1, so that's negative 4, negative 1, negative 2, so that's 1, and then I have 2, negative 3, so that's negative 1, 4 minus 4, that is 8. So that's my answer. Okay, 2 marks gained. Now again, this is 5 times a. In this case, my a value is negative 3, 2, negative 1, 4, and plus 2 times the b, which is 1, 3, negative 2, negative 4. First just times it and then add it. So that's negative 15, negative 5, 10, 20. All right, plus 2, 6, negative 4, negative 8. You can run down these working very, very fast when you guys are there in the exam hall. And then finally, I would be getting negative 13, 16, negative 9, just because I'm speaking and doing it, so it's taking me longer. But for y'all, you guys will be just thinking through them, so it won't be that difficult. Now, they're asking us to find B inverse. First, you got to, because you're trying to find the inverse of a 2 by 2 matrix, because B is a 2 by 2 matrix, so there is a certain set. First, you need to find the, what do you say? First, you find the determinant, okay, and then you do the inverse matrix formula. All right, so we find the determinant of B, which the inverse matrix formula looks something like this. B inverse, I'm surprised they didn't give it, but inverse looks something like this. Let's say inverse matrix 1 over A D minus BC, which is the determinant, and D A minus B and minus C, they change positions. Okay, so let's try to find the determinant first. Determinant of B, which in this case, what is my B, which is 1, negative 4, minus B was negative, so it was 3, times negative 2, so I'm going to do it negative 2 times it, and then I should be getting my answer as 2. All right, that's my determinant. So now B inverse, simply just putting everything together, negative 1 over the determinant, and the position changes and the sign changes, so that's negative 4, negative 3, 2, and 1. Did I do everything correctly? Yes, we did everything correctly. If you guys want to plug in the negative, the half inside, you guys can do that. It's absolutely correct. If not, then that's also fine. All right, because they have asked you. Did they ask you anything? They didn't ask you anything. Okay, so if you correctly multiply, you get 1 marks for the accuracy. So we're going to do that. So that's going to be negative 2, because they have not given us a position for a constant. So it's better you guys put it in. Better not lose marks. So negative 1.5. You guys need to do it correctly. 1 and 0.5. That should be a final answer. Now solving the simultaneous equation. Again, simultaneous equation is very, very simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the, 3x plus 4y is equal to 25. I'm going to make either any one of them the subject. I just want to make x the subject, so that's going to be x is equal to 25 minus 4y upon 3. All right, and all I got to do is I plug in this value in this equation. X squared plus y squared is equal to 26. I get 25 minus 4y upon 3, the whole thing squared, plus y squared is equal to 26. I expand the bracket, so I get 25 minus 4y parentheses 25 minus 4y parentheses divided by 3 times 3, which is 9 in this case, plus y squared is equal to 26. Now I can also get the y inside, but first let's try to expand the top, and then we do that. Okay, so I would be getting 625 plus 200y plus 16y squared, okay, and divided by 9. So I make the denominator the same, so I get plus y squared 9 divided by 9 is equal to 26. I move the 9 to the other side and I get something like 625 plus 200y, that doesn't look neat, 200y plus 16y squared plus 9y squared is equal to 26 times 9, that gives me 234. All right, now we combine the like terms and we will get a quadratic equation, and I'm going to move, okay, first let me do that. I get 25 y squared, I'm going to arrange it in the the format of quadratic, which is 200y and plus 625 is equal to 234. I move the 234 to the other side. I get 25y squared plus 200y plus 391 is equal to 0. And now I use the y is equal to minus b plus minus the quadratic formula, b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. I get my b value, which is 200 plus minus 200 squared minus 4 into 25 multiplied by 391. It is very important for you all to show the working for the quadratic solving, because quadratic solving, if you don't show your working, they have the full right to deduct mark. Alright, because you need to show the quadratic solving. Although you guys have the option in your calculator, but it is a practice that is required for you all to show the working for the quadratic. Alright, so I get y. Once you guys are done with the plugging in, you guys can use the calculator to simplify it as much. Jump to the simplification part, which is 200 plus minus 30 upon 50. Okay, and then we get y1 as negative 200 plus 30 upon 50, and then I get y2 as 200 minus 30 negative divided by 50. y1 has, what do I get? My first y1, I get negative 3.4, and I get y2 as negative 4.6, and I plug in these values in my x this thing. That's going to be x is equal to 25 minus 4y, 25 minus 4y upon 3. This is my x1, and then I get 25 minus 4 into negative 3.4 divided by this whole thing divided by 3, and I get my x1 value, which is going to be 3.8, and then I plug in the same thing over here. So that's x2 is equal to 25 minus 4y upon 3, and I get 25 minus 4, it's going to be 4 times negative 4.6 divided by 3, and I get my final answer as this should be negative and negative 4.6. So that is pretty much it. I got my 4 values and I should be correct. Alright, I hope everyone understood that. Wait, my x values are supposed to be positive, my bad. This is positive, this is positive, and this value is 2.2, sorry, 2.2. Okay, the question number 27, in the diagram B, C, E, F points are okay. Excuse me. AB, OF, GH is a regular hexagon with such that OB and OF are radii of the circle. BCD and FED are straight lines. Okay, understood. Okay, so what we are going to do is first we are going to use the intersecting secant theorem. Okay, we got to mention intersecting secant theorem. With respect to the intersecting secant theorem, we find the CD times BD is equal to ED times FD. Alright, so this will help us find this whole length, okay, which we are trying to find. Okay, so let's try that. We have the information, which is 4.5 times the total of 4.5 plus 3.8, which is 8.3, is equal to ED is 5, and we don't know the value of FD. We find the value of FD with this expression, with this equation, which is 7.47 in this case. So I know this whole thing is 7.47 centimeter. Okay, now what is my next part? Next part is telling me, no, not next part, like what's the next step. So we have a regular hexagon. All right, now what we know that interior angle of a regular hexagon is 120, and how do I find it 120? I'm going to show that to you. So to find total interior angle of any shape, that's going to be n minus 2 times 180. So in this case we have 6 sides, 1 2 3 4 5 6, we have 6 sides, so 4 into 180 and divided by 6, because we have 6 sides, and then you should be getting your answer as 120 degrees. All right, so we know that each angle is going to be 180 degrees. I hope you guys understood. So this equation gave us the total interior angle that is provided, and we have 6 angles inside, so divide by 6 and we got 120 degrees. So we know that each angle over here is 120 degrees, right? Like this. Okay, so that is one thing. Okay, now what else? Are we missing any information? No, we are not missing any information. We are going correctly. Now since we know that the interior angle is 120, we know that OB and OF are radius. Okay, so it is technically the center. So if we know that they are the center, so with respect to that, we know that they are starting from the same segment. All right, so if they're starting from the same segment, so we can find this one, which is going to be half of that, which is 60 degrees. Okay, but we got to mention as they are from same segment, they become half. When we mention about they, we say that angle as BOF angle BOF are from the same segment, as angle BOF is from the same segment, is from the same segment, angle BCF becomes half, which is 60 degrees in this case. Okay, so I know that that became 60 degrees, and I know that this is a straight line. So what I know is that it is going to be 180 minus 60, as BCD is straight line. You got to mention all this, all right? These are important. As BCD is a straight line, angle C is going to be 180 minus 60 and is equal to 120 degrees. Okay, मुझे ये सब भी मिल गया है, so मुझे पता चल गया है कि ये हो गया 120 degrees. Okay, now for me to find the area of CDF, I need to know what is the formula, which is half for that triangle. ठीक है, so that's going to be half AB sine C, correct, with respect to find the formula of the triangle without the height. But I need to know this length, so how do I find that length? I do the cosine rule. Okay, alright, so we are going to use the cosine rule. So we know that this is CF squared is equal to 4.5 squared plus 7.47 squared minus 2.45 क्या हो गया this thing times 2 times, okay wait, this is becoming a little bit too messy. ठीक है, ये होगा 2 4.5 7.47 times cos 60. ठीक है, अब मैं इसको CF I'm just gonna do, I simplified it and then I'm gonna get 42.4359. that would equate to 6.51 centimeter ish. तो अब हम 6.51 centimeter लिख देते हैं, 6.51 centimeter. ठीक है, ये हो गया मेरा CF का लेंथ. So what I do know is I'm gonna do half into AB sin C. ठीक है, तो मुझे पता है half into A मेरा है 6.51 टाइम्स मेरा B वैल्यू है 4.5 और मेरा साइन C होगा, मेरा sin C है 120, so that's 120, and I should be getting my answer, like when I equate it, I should be getting my answer as 8.03. That is my final answer. All right, I hope everyone was able to understand. And let's move on to the last part. So for question number 28, to find the radius, we first need to find the area of the triangle. So let's try finding the area of the triangle. So we will be using the formula, which is S is equal to 16 plus 10 plus 20 upon 2, which is 23 centimeter in this case, which is my length of S. And then I'm going to use the Heron's formula, which is area is equal to S minus A, S minus B, S minus C, and I get 23 minus 16, 23 minus 10, 23 minus 20, and I should be getting my final answer as square root 6279. Okay, and then I can write it as of this thing, which is 79.24. Now we try to find the radius, and we know that with the relationship, which is A is equal to R into S. I hope you guys know what the S is. S is the slant height. All right, so S is the slant height, and that is going to be, we know that the total area, it is 79.24 79.24. We still don't know, and we know that the S is 23. 7924 upon 23 is equal to R, and my R value is 3.445 something, which rounds off to how many significant figures? To one decimal place, so that's 3.4 centimeter. So this is it for this paper. I hope you guys were able to understand. Any queries, please drop it down in the description, or you can text me personally in WhatsApp.